So, Yogita, you were saying something there.
Yeah, I was saying that if by doing such good deeds, we have to come back and receive that deeds, good karmas. So whatever we have done. So this way we will never be free from our debt, from our rena. Yeah. So
That's right.
this
So,
is
so then,
yeah.
does it mean
Do
we
our
should not do any
duty.
good karma?
No, we have to do our duties, but the results we should not think of. And whatever
Mm.
we are doing it for pleasure of Krishna. We should think like
Yes.
that. So this way
Mm.
we will not become the debtor and receiver and whatever. So we will be
Yeah,
free from give and take and all things.
that's right. We won't get the reactions of our karma. Just do whatever even good we are doing, do it for the pleasure of Krishna. Yeah. So this is what Krishna is telling to Arjuna. Do your duty for this. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting. So Krishna is saying, do your duty for doing your duty. Don't be attached to the result. I'll do my duty, then I'll be happy. I'll do my duty, I'll get famous. I'll do my duty, I'll get this. I'll do my duty, I'll get that. Then we get attached. Then we are going to come back on another body to receive all these things. Eshate abhihita sankhye
Esha te abhi
Vihatya Sankhya
buddhir yogetva imam shrinu.
Buddhir
buddhir
Yogi
yoga
Tav
imam
Imam Srinu
Buddhya yukto yaya partha
buddhya yukto yaya
Buddhya Yukto Yaya Partha
karma bandham prahasyasi.
karma
Karma
bandham
Bandham Prayasati. Translation. Thus far, I have described this knowledge to you through an analytical study. Now, listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Pratha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. Purport. According to the Nirukti or the Vedic dictionary, Sankhya means that which describe things in detail, and Sankhya refers to the philosophy which describe the real nature of the soul. And yoga involves controlling the senses. Arjuna's proposal not to fight was based on sense gratification. Forgetting his prime duty, he wanted to cease fighting because he thought that by not killing his relatives and kinsmen, he would be happier than by enjoying the kingdom after conquering his cousins and brothers, the sons of Dhritarashtra. In both ways, the basic principles were for sense gratification. Happiness derived from conquering them and happiness derived by seeing kinsmen alive are both on the basis of personal sense gratification. Even at a sacrifice of wisdom and duty, Krishna therefore wanted to explain to Arjuna that by killing the body of his grandfather, he would not be killing the soul proper, and he explained that all individual persons, including the Lord himself, are eternal individuals. They were individuals in the past, they are individuals in the present, and they will continue to remain individuals in the future because all of us are individual souls eternally. We simply change our bodily dress in different manners, but actually we keep our individuality even after liberation from the bondage of material dress. An analytical study of the soul and the body has been very graphically explained by Lord Krishna. And this descriptive knowledge of the soul and the body from different angles of vision has been described here as Sankhya. In terms of Nirukti dictionary, this Sankhya has nothing to do with Sankhya philosophy of the atheist Kapila. Long before the impostor Kapila's Sankhya, the Sankhya philosophy was expounded in the Srimad Bhagavatam by the true Lord Kapila, the incarnation of Lord Krishna, who explained it to his mother Devahuti. It is clearly explained by him that a Purusa of the Supreme Lord is active and he creates by looking over Prakriti. This is accepted in the Vedas and in the Gita. The description in the Vedas indicate that the Lord glanced over the Prakriti or nature and impregnated it with atomic individual souls. All these individuals are working in the material world for sense gratification and under the spell of material energy, they are thinking of being enjoyers. This mentality is dragged to the last point of liberation when the living entity wants to become one with the Lord. This is the last snare of Maya or sense gratificatory illusion, and it is only after many births of such sense gratificatory activity that a great soul surrenders into Vasudeva. Lord Krishna, thereby fulfilling the search after the ultimate truth. Arjuna has already accepted Krishna as a spiritual master by surrendering himself into him. The Sisyastaham Sadi Mamtavam Prapanam. Consequently, Krishna will now tell him about the working process in Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga, or in other words, the practice of devotional service only for the sense gratification of the Lord. This Buddhi Yoga is clearly explained in chapter 10, verse 10, as being directed communion with the Lord who is sitting as Paramatma in everyone's heart. But such communion does not take place without devotional service. One who is therefore situated in devotional or transcendental loving service to the Lord, or in other words, in Krishna consciousness, attains to the stage of Buddhi Yoga by the special grace of the Lord. The Lord says, therefore, that only to those who are always engaged in devotional service out of transcendental love does He award the pure knowledge of devotion in love. In that way, the devotee can reach Him easily in the ever blissful kingdom of God. Thus, the Buddhi Yoga mentioned in this verse is the devotional service of the Lord. And the word Sankhya mentioned herein has nothing to do with the atheistic Sankhya Yoga enunciated, enunciated by the impostor Kapila. One should not therefore misunderstand that the Sankhya Yoga mentioned herein has any connection with the atheistic Sankhya, nor did the philosophy have any influence during that time, nor would Lord Krishna care to mention such goddess philosophical speculation. Real Sankhya philosophy is described by Lord Kapila in the Srimad Bhagavatam, but even that Sankhya has nothing to do with the current topics. Here, Sankhya means analytical description of the body and soul. Lord Krishna made an analytical description of the soul just to bring Arjuna to the point of Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, Lord Krishna's Sankhya and the Lord Kapila's Sankhya, as described in the Bhagavatam, are one and the same. They are all Bhakti Yoga. Lord Krishna said, therefore, that only the less intelligent class of men make a distinction between Sankhya Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Sankhya Yoga prithak bala pravadanti na pandita. Of course, atheistic Sankhya Yoga has nothing to do with Bhakti Yoga. Yet the unintelligent claim that the atheistic Sankhya Yoga is referred to in the Bhagavad Gita. One should therefore understand that Buddhi Yoga means to work in Krishna consciousness, in the full bliss and knowledge of devotional service. One who works for the satisfaction of the Lord only. However difficult such work may be, he is working under the principles of Buddhi Yoga and find himself always in the transcendental bliss. By such transcendental engagement, one achieves all transcendental understanding automatically by the grace of the Lord, and thus his liberation is complete in itself, without his making extraneous endeavors to acquire knowledge. There is much difference between work in Krishna consciousness and work for fruitive results, especially in the matter of sense gratification, for achieving results in terms of family or material happiness. Buddhi Yoga is therefore the transcendental quality of the work that we perform.
So here, Srila Prabhupada first is pointing out that um, it seems there's some atheistic Kapila, but Krishna is never going to speak any atheistic philosophy in Bhagavad Gita. The real Sankhya philosophy is spoken by the real Lord Kapila, who's an incarnation of Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam, is described in Canto 3. And in that, Lord Kapila he analyzes how the soul is different from the material elements. We are not material. The body is material. The body is made up of earth, water, air, fire, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego, the senses, hands, legs, eyes, ears, nose, all these different senses. But we are the soul, the spirit. And so through analytical study, Lord Kapila, he establishes that. Similar, just now, Krishna has also been saying that. He's been saying that how the soul is spiritual, eternal, everlasting, can never be cut, burned, withered. He's giving us so much knowledge. And he's saying the body is never permanent. It has to die one day or the other. So both are saying the same thing. And what does Krishna want Arjuna to do? Because Arjuna is saying, I don't want to do my work. Krishna is saying, you do your work, do it for my satisfaction. So he's bringing him to the point of karma yoga. This buddhi yoga that is being described is karma yoga. So that Arjuna does not get implicated in the reactions. Similarly, so that we don't get implicated in the reactions. We don't have to stop work. We do whatever we need to do, whatever we like to do, whatever we are supposed to do, but simply offer the result of that work to Krishna. So, of course, Srila Prabhupada is pointing out that when Arjuna is saying he doesn't want to do his duty, is based on sense gratification. We get weakness of the heart. We don't want to do our duty because it's too difficult and we give it up. But Krishna is saying, no, you do your duty, whatever you need to do. That's going to give you detachment from the material world. So that's why Krishna is telling Arjuna, you do it. And then, of course, again, the point is being brought up that the soul never dies. Soul always exists. We have existed in the past, we are existing now, and we will exist in the future. But at no point are we going to mix together, merge together, and become one big blob of soul. No, we will remain individuals always, eternally. That's the meaning of spiritual. There's no change. Eternally individuals. Always having the sense that, you know, of this individuality. I can never think, you can never think that you are me, and I can never think that I am you. It's never gonna happen. And that's what's the idea of self-realization is. We don't have to become anyone. Many people think that liberation means I have to become God. No, that means then we are trying to become someone we are not. Self-realization means we have to just realize who we truly are. That's it. That's what self-realization. So then Lord Kapila's teachings. And then, of course, Prabhupada is pointing out that how we individual souls are put into this material atmosphere is very vividly described in the first three cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, which deals with the sections of creation. And Lord Kapila also says this. It's not that, oh, we are a combination of these material elements and that's how the soul is produced. No, if that were true, then the souls should be produced just, randomly, but we are not even able to produce one soul. No, we are put here by the Supreme Lord Himself, by His glance. He glances at Prakriti, He glances at the material nature. And that's how He puts us here in this material world. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Yonishu Aham Vaja Pradapita. I am the seed-giving father for all living entities. Now we may think that, oh, right now I'm not God, but after I get liberated, I'm going to become God. Now, that's called last snare of Maya. Maya does not want to leave us so easily. We have been her faithful servants since time immemorial. And it's her duty to keep the mischievous away from Krishna. Those who are still wanting to be in the material world, it's a duty to still keep us here. So then she makes us believe that, oh, I can become God. But that's illusion. We can never become God. You can never, as we sometimes say, a 2G chip is always going to be 2G. It can never become 5G. That's the capacity it has. Can't be increased. It's Lord Krishna who's unlimited. We are minute. We are 1/10,000 the tip of a hair. We cannot increase that size, because the soul is unchangeable, it's eternal, it's immutable. So that's our size, 1/10,000 the tip of a hair. And Krishna, his size is unlimited. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, come to Karma Yoga. Come to the point of Karma Yoga so that you don't get attached to the result. Not only that, but you will also get detachment from the material world gradually, gradually. Because then Krishna is telling you, do offer the results of your activities to me. And if we really act in this way, then gradually, gradually we can come to the transcendental platform, understanding I am not the body, I'm the soul. I have a special relationship with Krishna, a loving relationship with Krishna. And Krishna says when one comes to that point, then Krishna gives the intelligence of how we can come closer to him, go back home, back to Godhead. So simply by hearing, we continue hearing and chanting, and we can be situated in the highest platform of love of God. That's the goal of life, ultimate goal. Is that okay?
Yes.
It's the Sankhya philosophy which Kapil Bhagwan was giving it to his mother devotee. That is Sankhya
That's right.
philosophy.
That's right. Kapila,
Sankhya,
Lord Kapila.
Kapil gave to
Yes.
them, yeah,
Yeah.
to devotee.
That's Sankhya philosophy.
Okay.
That's right. It's very beautifully given in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And it's Bhakti Yoga. Lord Kapila is an incarnation of Krishna himself. He's never going to teach something that is not bhakti. It's bhakti.
And Buddhi Yoga and Karma Yoga are the same things. Are they
Yes,
same? Okay, without any difference.
yes.
Okay.
Offering the results to Krishna. Nihabhikrama nasho asti
Neha Nasho Asti
Namaste.
pratyavayo na vidyate
Pratyavayo Na Vidyate
svam alpam api asya dharmasya
Svalpam Yasya Dharmasya
ayate mahato bhaya.
Trayate Mahato Bhayat.
Trayate Mahatmaya. Anyone else wants to read?
I can read.
You get you
Okay.
want to read? Yeah.
Okay, I can read. Sheenam here.
Okay,
Yeah, sure, please.
So, in this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Activity in Krishna consciousness, or acting for the benefit of Krishna without expectation of sense gratification, is the highest transcendental quality of work. Even a small beginning of such activity finds no impediment, nor can that small beginning be lost at any stage. Any work begun on the material plane has to be completed, otherwise, the whole attempt becomes a failure. But any work begun in Krishna consciousness has a permanent effect, even though not finished. The performer of such work is therefore not at a loss, even if his work in Krishna consciousness is incomplete. One person done in Krishna consciousness bears permanent results, so that the next beginning is from the point of 2%. Whereas in material activity, without 100% success, there is no profit. Jamila performed his duty in some percentage of Krishna consciousness, but the result he enjoyed at the end was 100% by the grace of the Lord. There is nice verse in this connection in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, verse 17. Tyaktva swadharmam charanam bhujam hare bhajan bhajan apakvo thapatet tato yadi yatra kva vabhadram abhud amusya kim ko varth apto bhajatam swa dharmata. If someone gives up his occupational duties and works in Krishna consciousness and then falls down on account of not completing his work, what loss is there on his part? And what can one gain if one performs his material activities perfectly? Or as the Christians say, what profit a man if he gain the whole world yet suffers the loss of his eternal soul? Material activities and the results end with the body. But work in Krishna consciousness carries a person again to Krishna consciousness, even after the loss of the body. At least one is sure to have a chance in the next life of being born again as a human being, either in the family of a great cultured Brahmana or in a rich aristocratic family that will give one a further chance for elevation. That is the unique quality of work done in Krishna consciousness.
So Prabhupada is pointing out what Bhagavatam says. Bhagavatam says that if one just works for Krishna, you know, that's the highest thing he can do, even though he may not be able to do it perfectly. But what gain is there for someone who's doing his material duties perfectly without any Krishna consciousness, without any hearing, chanting, without any connection to Krishna? So he does his activities properly, but then that's still going to keep him in the material world. It's still going to keep him in the cycle of birth and death. So sure, he may be raised to heavenly planets, but he has no chance of getting out here. But whereas someone who's begin Krishna consciousness, who's begun hearing and chanting, who's begun to offer the results to Krishna, for him, he's slowly, gradually, he's walking towards the spiritual world. He's, you know, he's cutting out his future births here in the material world. As Prabhupada is pointing out, at least he can get a human birth in the next life, and he can begin from the point he left off and given more chance to engage in devotional service, more chance to hear and chant, to revive his relationship with Krishna. So by karma yoga, we can come to this bhakti yoga. Krishna says you do whatever you want to do because he knows that we won't be able to give up our work immediately. But he says you give your results to me. And by doing that, gradually, we will get attached to Krishna. We can get out of this material world. You see, on this material plane, whatever we do is just whatever knowledge we get or whatever endeavor we do is temporary to this body. Now, someone will say, but well, I'm in the body, so I have to work for the body. Yeah, of course we have to. We cannot pretend that, oh, I'm not in the body and so I don't need to work. No, of course we do whatever is to be done, but we hear and chant every day, regularly. Connect our work to Krishna, give the results of our work to Krishna, do our duty for the pleasure of Krishna. Is that okay?
Can you give one example like how exactly in everyday life we can normally working in our lives how we can do karma yoga exactly?
So, for example, the example my Guru Maharaj usually gives is someone wants to eat French fries, so they'll go to the market, buy the potatoes, wash them, clean them, cut them, fry them. Then instead of eating them directly, which becomes karma, first offer to Krishna and then you eat. So it becomes karma yoga. So whatever activities we are doing, we offer the result to Krishna. As we are saying, we are eating something, first offer to Krishna, then eat. We are working somewhere, some portion of our income, we can offer it to Krishna conscious activities. We are taking care of our family. We will be able to take care of them in a much better way if we look at them as parts and parcels of Krishna, that it's my duty towards Krishna to take care of my family properly. In this way, We are taking care of our body. Oh, let me take care of my body properly so that I can engage in devotional service, so that I can serve Krishna.
Okay, thank you.
And then, of course, Bhakti Yoga, that is that we do what Krishna likes us to do. Oh, let me make French fries because Krishna will like it. Let me hear and chant for the pleasure of Krishna. Bhakti begins by hearing and chanting. Let me hear for the pleasure of Krishna. So we begin our hearing and chanting. And we do our duties, what we are supposed to do. Always keeping Krishna in mind. Yeah, is that a bit better?
Yeah, thank you.
Vyavasayatmika buddhir
व्यवसायत्मिका बुद्धिर्
ekeha kuru nandana
एकेह
Kurunandana
bahushakhahi anantascha
Bahushakahi Anantascha
buddhayo avyavasayinam.
Buddhayo Bhavyasayanam.
Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Gurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. The strong faith that by Krishna consciousness one will be elevated to the highest perfection of life is called Vyavasayatmika intelligence. The Caitanya Caritamrita states, Shraddha Sabde Vishwas Kahe Shudradha Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Kele Sarva Karma Karta Haya. Faith means unflinching trust in something sublime. When one is engaged in the duties of Krishna consciousness, he need not act in relationship to the material world with obligations to family, traditions, humanity, or nationality. Fruitive activities are the engagements of one's reaction from past good or bad deeds. When one is awake in Krishna consciousness, he need no longer endeavor for good results in his activities. When one is situated in Krishna consciousness, all activities are on the absolute plane, for they are no longer subject to dualities like good or bad. The highest perfection of Krishna consciousness is renunciation of the material conception of life. This state is automatically achieved by progressive Krishna consciousness. The resolute purpose of a person is Krishna consciousness. In Krishna consciousness is based on knowledge. Vasudeva Sarvam Iti Sa Mahatma Su Durlabha. A person in Krishna consciousness is the rare good soul who knows perfectly that Vasudeva or Krishna is the root of all manifested causes. As by watering the root of a tree, one automatically distributes water to the leaves and branches. So by acting in Krishna consciousness, one can render the highest service to everyone, namely self, family, society, country, humanity, etc. If Krishna is satisfied by one's actions, then everyone will be satisfied. Service in Krishna consciousness is, however, best practiced under the able guidance of a spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Krishna, who knows the nature of the student and who can guide him to act in Krishna consciousness. As such, to be well versed in Krishna consciousness, one has to act firmly and obey the representative of Krishna. And one should accept the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master as one's mission in life. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur instructs us in his famous prayers of the spirit for the spiritual master as follows: Yashya prasadad bhagavad prasado Yashya prasadan na gati kutopi Dhyayan stuvams tasya yasas trisandhyam Vande Guru Shri Charna Ravindam. By satisfaction of the spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes satisfied. And by not satisfying the spiritual master, there is no chance of being promoted to the plane of Krishna consciousness. I should therefore meditate and pray for his mercy 3 times a day and offer my respectful obeisances unto him, my spiritual master. The whole process, however, depends on perfect knowledge of the soul beyond the conception of the body, not theoretically but practically. When there is no longer a chance for sense gratification manifested in fruitive activities, one who is not firmly fixed in mind is diverted by various types of fruitive acts.
So it was this verse when Srila Prabhupada, he personally says and writes that when he read the commentary by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur to this verse, it gave him that firm determination that he needs to carry out the instruction of his spiritual master. His spiritual master had told him to give this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita in the Western countries. And so after he read the commentary of this verse, he really took up that instruction very seriously. And we see by his grace, uh, we are being able to read Bhagavad Gita in a language that we can understand. Bhagavad Gita as it is. So, a strong faith that by Krishna consciousness one will be elevated to the highest perfection of life is called Vyasayatmika Buddhi. How can we come to this point of strong faith, unflinching faith? Sure, right now we may have some faith or some beginning, some inquisitiveness. We continue to hear and chant in the association of devotees. Bhakti begins by hearing and chanting. So we continue to hear and chant. By hearing and chanting, gradually, our faith will increase. And also, if the supreme position of Krishna is not affected whether we believe that he's the Supreme Lord or no, whether we have faith that he's the Supreme Lord or no. He is the Supreme Lord. It's irrespective of our faith. It does not change his supreme position. We may think, oh, because of my belief, something may change. But the absolute truth cannot change because of our belief. It is what it is. Someone who does not know that, okay, the sun is gone down. So someone may think now the sun is finished, no more. But he doesn't know the sun is there in the other part of the world. But his belief is that now the sun is no more. Does it mean that really the sun is no more? No, right? It's just his own foolishness that he has made up this belief. So similarly, whether we believe Krishna is the Supreme Lord or no, it does not change his supreme position that yes, he is the Supreme Lord. So it is in our best interest that we begin with hearing and chanting, so that gradually we can understand the absolute truth in the association of devotees. So initially, Krishna is saying, at least come up to Karma Yoga. From Karma Yoga, you come to Bhakti Yoga. He's saying that Karma Yoga, as we just said, whatever we are doing, we continue doing, do for the pleasure of Krishna, and continue to hear and chant. Lord Chaitanya, to the Kurma Brahman, when the Kurma Brahman wanted to leave his house, Lord Chaitanya told him, no, you stay where you are, you do what you're doing. But wherever you go, whoever you meet, you tell them about Krishna. That's what we can do. Do our duties, we do our hearing and chanting, and we encourage others to hear and chant. And then by doing this, gradually, automatically, we will come to the point of liberation. Give up this idea that we are the body. We'll be able to actually realize, oh, I'm not the body, I'm the soul. That's what it said. The highest perfection of Krishna consciousness is renunciation of material conception of life. What is this material conception of life? We continue to think, I'm the body, this is mine, this is my name, this is my family, this is my country, society, whatever. But actually, are we all this? Actually, we are the soul. So the more we hear and chant, the more we will be able to realize our real position. And so let's surrender to Krishna, because Krishna is saying, you surrender to me. his last instruction in Bhagavad Gita is just give up all varieties of religion and surrender to me. And Lord Chaitanya showed us what does this surrender mean. That means begin to hear and chant about Krishna. So Prabhupada is giving this example, this analogy. When we are watering a tree, if we are going to water every branch, every leaf, the tree is not going to grow nicely. If we simply water the root of the tree, automatically the water is spread to all the branches, leaves, the root, the tree becomes very good. Similarly, we simply please Krishna and we will be able to please everyone. We will be able to understand the truth. We'll be able to please everyone. We can get out of this material world, go back home, back to Godhead. We are trying to serve everyone separately. We are trying to serve this one, that one, this one, that one. We are trying to please them separately. But the real way we can actually please everyone is if we please Krishna. Because Krishna is the Paramatma in everyone's heart. So when we please Krishna, then every living entity feels pleased. Because the Paramatma is there in everyone's heart. So of course, Prabhupada is pointing out that Krishna consciousness, best practice under the guidance of a spiritual master, bona fide representative of Krishna, means a real spiritual master, one who's coming in the disciplic succession, one who's authorized. It's like Prabhupada would give the example that we have a mailbox. I can just take any box and paint it red and green and put it out of there and put a letter in there. But is it going to reach to the recipient? No, it's not. Because the mailman is not going to come and open this box. Why? Because it's not authorized by the post office. But yeah, if I put a letter in a box which is authorized by the postal system, for sure the letter will be received by the recipient. Similarly, bona fide spiritual master, one who's coming in the parampara system, disciplic succession, who's really a representative of Krishna. Not that anyone says, oh yes, I'm a spiritual master and we follow. Never be able to reach Krishna in that way. So one who knows the science of Krishna. Yeah. So this is what Srila Prabhupada is saying, and following the instructions of the spiritual master, satisfying the spiritual master, we can satisfy Krishna. But not satisfying the spiritual master, we can't satisfy Krishna. A bona fide spiritual master. So here, the whole process depends on perfect knowledge of soul beyond the conception of body, not theoretically, but practically. What do? We hear and chant to bring us to this platform, to bring us on this liberated platform of understanding I'm not the body, I'm the soul. Because when we hear and chant about Krishna, then our consciousness gets purified. It gets purified. We can gradually begin to understand our real position, constitutional position as spirit souls, part and parcels of Krishna, eternal servants of Krishna. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Were there any other questions or comments?
No, nothing.
Karma yoga also can mean like, I want to watch something. So then, okay, then we try to watch. There's so many on YouTube, so many lectures going on, so many programs. I want to hear something. When we hear kirtan, I want to eat something. We eat prasad. Yeah, that's how we can engage our senses, the service of Krishna. And then when we do it for the pleasure of Krishna, the same activities, oh, I want to hear, so Krishna will be pleased. Oh, I want to watch something, so Krishna will be pleased. Then that's Bhakti Yoga. for the pleasure of Krishna. So we can see how the consciousness gradually gets evolved, gets purified. So let's stop here for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening and enjoying it. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta
Thank
ki
you.
jai. Hari